Alexandre Spindler, a name I'm sure you're becoming very familiar with, is the French developer behind this innovative and hyper-realistic game made in Unreal Engine. The low quality and the heavily compressed, choppy audio. You'd think stuff like that would weaken the immersion, but it's quite the opposite. It tosses the dreamlike quality often endemic to computer graphics for something more gritty and visceral. Today, we'll talk about how deliberate imperfections may have played a role in its success, and other similar cases, because, ironically, this technique has grown in popularity as our ability to emulate photorealism gets better. This isn't the first time this has happened. When this Arma 3 clip started getting thrown around by all our favorite minion meme sharing relatives, Aunt Becky, it was actually pretty easy to understand why they thought it was real. Supposedly, this was real-life footage of aerial warfare waged by Ukrainian forces against Russian invaders. It was even shared on news channels. Thousands of people simply did not realize that what they were witnessing was just a video game being played by a bunch of sweaty nerds like me who care way too much about the details behind different ammo types. Stepping away from the realm of shooty bang bang and instead taking a dip into vroom vroom territory, look at this Ride 4 footage. Right off the bat, it was incredibly convincing, but some users took it a step further and pointed out that when you lower the quality, you get an unusual increase in realism. Crazy, isn't it? Now, it certainly looks terrible, but man, does it just feel real. Here's another very popular example. Kane Pixel's Backrooms saga. There is something very intriguing not only about the basic concept, but also about just how convincing it looks.
And this is pretty evident with Backrooms more than anything else I've made, considering it does present itself like it's actual footage.
The framing is similar to a real-life amateur video recording. Claustrophobic angles and low resolutions like it was posted during the early 2000s golden age of potato YouTube. These sorts of creative decisions are emblematic of the cinematic technique known as found footage. Recall, if you will, the granddaddy of popularizing found footage, the Blair Witch Project. Look, these techniques work because, let's face it, there's nothing scarier than a video in 240p. The Backrooms with their VHS aesthetics. Arma 3 with its, well, the Arma 3-ness. Mr. Spindler's work in progress with its inability to invest in lens wipes. It's crazy how convincing they look, but why do they look so convincing? Well, you should blame your brain. Let me explain. When we see something at low resolution, our brain is in charge of completing the rest of the puzzle and making assumptions with the little information it sees. Our brains are constantly filling in the gaps. If I show you this image, can you tell me what you see? No, it's not Mario. What? Okay. How about now? And now? Ah, there we go. These were the images used in a study where most participants were able to make out the images once it reached a resolution of only 16 by 16 pixels. That's not a lot of pixels. If our eyes can tolerate a significant loss in resolution without any noticeable impact on our ability to see or understand an image, why not use this to help create fear? The complex. The game's blurry, grainy, VHS-style visuals provide that much-desired tape-like aesthetic, while the harsh, compressed audio simply oozes with immersive ambiance that rattles you with anxiety. It really does look and feel like found footage. It's the icing on the cake in a game whose graphics, lighting, and textures would be laudable in and of themselves, even without those extra flourishes of lived-in realism we've been discussing. The fear it creates is spawned from the tension of having unreliable visual quality. It feels extra real and terrifying because you can't trust what you see. The flaws prevent you from noticing the details. It is an intentional design choice, subtle but effective. Let's take a step back away from horror now, just to give our poor little overworked hearts a break. Here, we see an underground race through the streets of Tokyo. In the racing game, Assetto Corsa. Yes, you did just second guess yourself. Now you know how your uncle felt when he shared that Arma 3 footage. Bathe in your newfound humility. Specifically though, this is from the Shitoku Revival Project mod. Note the intense motion blur, the harsh glare, the high compression, and even the dynamic audio. As if you were in the vehicle listening to those shifting gears. It's a feast of features often dismissed as fugly, but for all intents and purposes, fantastically futuristic. Alliteration. I highly recommend watching this video at 240p, as it completely transforms the feeling of realism. At 1080p 60fps, it becomes apparent to anyone with a fairly modern eye that this isn't quite real. But at a lower resolution, the only giveaway is the speedometer being a floating holographic. Seriously though, why did they use a holographic? Talented indie developers are pushing the limits yet again, but some of us can't help but ponder, how far is too far? I think we'll soon see more developers exploring these techniques further in the coming years. Now speaking of, y'all seen that upcoming horror game, Paranormal Tales? Been a while since just the trailer for a game managed to actually make me jump. If you like horror, you've gotta check it out. So, what do you think? Do you like the aesthetics of low-resolution graphics? What are your favorite examples of games, movies, or other digital media that use these kinds of techniques? And finally, what could we achieve with this and other similar approaches? Let us know what you think in the comments. Oh, and I know you hear this a lot, but you leaving a like does go a really long way to helping us out. I know. Thank you for listening to us drone on and on about cool graphical stuff. We hope you enjoy watching it as much as we enjoy making it. We couldn't do this without you guys. Until next time, this has been The Cutting Edge, and once again, we'll cut you later. I'm so making fetch happen.